We have record investment coming in. We've never seen anything like it, and we're pulling away from the rest of the world because of your leadership, the policies that you did from day one in terms of digital assets, in terms of technology, and bringing back American manufacturing. You know, you've done it again. You had the incredible economy during your first term, and we are seeing that carry over here.
President Trump meeting with his cabinet at Camp David. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sat down with Fox Business to talk all things economy. Edward Lawrence just got the exclusive, and he joins us now. Hey, Edward.
Hey, Taylor. Yeah, our talk was ahead of that meeting there. He is in the cabinet meeting, as you saw there. Now, we talked about GDP. We talked about inflation. On GDP, the Treasury Secretary believes that the numbers are noisy for the second quarter estimate, and he thinks that we'll end the year well above 2%.
We released a big amount of oil from Strategic Petroleum Reserve, and that came out of GDP. So the good news is core GDP was actually quite strong, Ed. And you know, we're seeing manufacturing is doing well, the jobs numbers are strong, the consumer is strong. So you know, it was a technical adjustment in the number. I wouldn't worry about it.
On inflation, the Secretary focusing on core inflation because he believes the prices will fall quickly once the operations in Iran ends.
Energy can and will be volatile, but we'll get to the other side of the Iran war, and you know, it will come down. Last month we saw the biggest drop in many years. So you know, we see how quickly it responds to the energy prices.
Now, the Treasury Secretary and the U.S. Trade Representative, they were talking with their Chinese counterparts yesterday, sending a warning to China. Listen to this.
We expressed our concern that the rare earths are not flowing as freely as they could, that they have taken some measures that are detrimental to U.S. businesses, and you know, we said that if this continues, we will push back.
Now, a readout of the call from China says that the Chinese side expresses serious concern over the recent economic and trade restrictions imposed by the United States on China. Now, Secretary Bessent said at the staff level they passed on the Chinese AI models that they have evidence of U.S. watermarks showing them that it's stolen technology. There's a lot of frustration I'm getting from the U.S. side relating to the things that China's doing and the stealing that's going on from China, from the United States. Back to you.
Edward Lawrence, thank you so much. Griff, on the China stuff, well, in there, I think a lot of us, at least in economics, sit around and we're like, how does this keep happening? We know that China is involved in IP theft. There's forced tech transfer that goes on if you want to operate in there. We'll talk about Tesla later. They're thinking maybe of spinning off the Chinese business. But yet we still talk about it. Is there anything that can be done so that our adversary doesn't steal our technology, turn it around, make it cheaper, and then resell it back to us?
Well, I don't know. I mean, one would think the answer to that is you're never going to stop China from doing that. I do think the solution that has proven successful so far is to put a businessman in the White House rather than a pure politician, because President Trump, in his past meetings with Xi and with China, has brought investment back here. But I'm going to go in an interesting direction with you, because when in the interview that Edward Lawrence just had with Bessent was talking about manufacturing, American manufacturing. So the offset of the stolen theft, selling it back to us. I stay in contact with a guy that I have followed and reported on for years. He is named Drew Greenblatt of Marlin Steel in Illinois and in Maryland, and he makes steel baskets, right? And when we thought that was dead, he is now not only doubled and built the largest actual plant that he had, but just this week he acquired another company, tripling the size of his company, all based on American manufacturing, all Americans making American products. And so I think, you know, maybe the best solution to trying to deal with Xi, as President Trump keeps doing, and we'll see what the September meeting brings, get the investment, do whatever, and try and reestablish American manufacturing. That would be a really big legacy that the president would leave on his administration that I don't think people talk a lot about. But you talk to American manufacturers like my guy, Drew Greenblatt, he'll tell you it's on fire. It's never been better.
Interesting. Jackie, I come to you with more statistics. We talked about in May, the average, and this is very, very back of the envelope math. Oil on average was 105. June, we got down to 85. That's why you had the big decline when we got the PPI and CPI numbers. And in July, you're down to 80. So you're still getting a little bit of a decline, and we'll get the CPI numbers in a couple weeks for July. But for now, the good news is if these numbers hold, you could continue to see some deflationary forces when it comes to oil. But a lot of people look at PCE at 3.7 and say, you're still almost double our target, and I still don't like the way I feel.
And that is real, and it's valid, and prices at the pump matter, and they're going to matter going into the midterms. So I'm hoping, whatever happens with this conflict, that we stay at this $84 level or lower, potentially, with the market having confidence in the fact that the president knows how to handle this and that we are, in fact, going to win. But what I don't like about the oil story is the ties that China has to Iran. And I think it underscores, it's twofold. It's about an oil price, but it's also about enabling our enemies. And there's nothing about that I like, but it proves once again, the same way you can't trust the Iranians, you will never be able to trust the Chinese either. And this has been a conversation that's ongoing from Trump's first term, ongoing until now. President Biden sort of backing off of the whole notion, but every president that backs off of a threat only kicks the can down the road for somebody else to have to deal with it later. And what it does is underscore what you're talking about. The only way you're not going to be able to take China down, force regime change over there, change how they do things. You have to get control, use your leverage in the way that you can in terms of bringing manufacturing home. And I know it's costing more, and I know some of this is contributing to the inflation aspect of it, and people don't like it. But the long-term goal here is so noteworthy, and no one wants to do it because it's hard. And nobody wanted to go after the Iranian regime because it's hard. And they're worried about how it's going to make them look and what their legacy will be, rather than thinking about, everybody else's future in the long term. And so, I credit the president, and I give him, major kudos for taking on some of these issues. Growing pains are hard, but ultimately, when we find new ways around the strait, ultimately, when we deal with China in a different way and it doesn't have as much leverage, you're going to be able to control these issues better.
So Dagan, I want to talk to you about how we mentioned 1.5% GDP. Atlanta Fed right now is 5%. And I think what's interesting is the way GDP is I don't want to dismiss 1.5% because that's a low, icky number. But I think what he was talking about is when you're importing all of these things for manufacturing, that's a negative sign in front of GDP. Right. And so it is a measly 1.5 because imports subtract from GDP. But if you sort of understand why we're importing, and if it means there's a solid economy underneath the surface, can you sort of excuse a 1.5%? Atlanta Fed right now is still at a 5%, though we know that that's very volatile.
The consumer was still surprisingly strong. Consumer spending has held up. That contributed to GDP, as did exports. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve sales that the Treasury Secretary mentioned, they did deduct from government consumption expenditures, their loans, and that was a drag on the way that the GDP number was calculated. However, it was a wash. So that SPR release broadly was a wash and was not a drag overall, because the oil sold or loaned out of the SPR showed up as an increase in other GDP components, like exports, as an example. It wasn't just socked into inventories. So that's not the reason that the economy was growing at 1.5%. By the way, I just got a headline on one thing that President Trump said on Ukraine. I'll just hold it until later.
Yeah. Two quick things. I'm alarmed by the surprisingly low levels of oil supplies internationally. The flow of oil in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. You and I talk about Cushing hitting like rock bottom levels at 19 million, 20 million barrels. It keeps falling, right? It's
now at 18 and change.
Yeah. So now we get back to your, is 84 the floor? I don't think so, because if things flare up again, we could see oil, we could see a global oil crisis go 120 and north of that, just because of supplies, not because of geopolitical risk. But the other thing, I think, Griff, you said it best, is that it's great that the president, we have a businessman in office that can put the leverage on China to make sure that we can extend the clock and bring the prices back down here.